I heard about Mike Tyson, and when I was like, oh, he was a foster child too, you know, and I was like, that was the hope moment. It's like,
Oh,
I was like, so Mike Tyson is knocking people out. He's on video games and stuff like that. It just let me know, hey, Mike Tyson has something similar to how you grew up, but there's hope. There's hope. And from that moment, I was like, I didn't feel ashamed to be a foster child.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Big Dog Talk Podcast. It's the one and only Big Charles in the building. Listen, today I'm going to do something differently. I have my buddy Q here, Quentin, that's on the podcast today. Before I even go into Quentin, I want to, Big Dog Talk Podcast is my church. It's my sanctuary. This is my way of dealing with real life topics in the hopes that it helps others unlearn, relearn, heal, build, tear down some old things, rebuild. Better. This is my way of helping human beings.
Gotcha.
You understand? So bringing you on this platform, bringing Quentin on this platform to share his experience, going through the foster care system, this is new. And as I was telling you before, my grandmother is a foster care mother.
Okay.
I have an uncle that is a respect like a foster uncle, but I didn't consider him as that growing up.
Gotcha.
You know, he was like a blood uncle.
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like I believe that this conversation, will give me even more understanding. It would even give me more insight. I'm in the hopes that it will show others that we all go through different walks of life, so we need to have more grace for each other.
Gotcha.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this conversation, something magical comes out of it. You know, so anyway,
Okay.
welcome to the Big Dog Talk Podcast. We want to dive right into it, man.
Okay.
If you can tell the people your name.
Name is Quentin.
You mind sharing your age, or you don't want to share that part?
I'm not going to
Okay, you don't want to do that. No, look, yeah, I know. Listen, I'm getting ready. I'm turning 40. But man, so first of all, have you ever shared your experience on the camera about your journey through the foster care system?
No.
You shared it probably.
They might have heard a teeny bit in a verse or something like that of performing, but not on camera. No interviews where I shared my story.
I don't know why I'm a little nervous, because I just feel like I believe that it's going to be. See, I'm a life coach.
Okay.
Behind the scene.
Gotcha.
And I believe that this is not only going to be helpful for you, but it is going to be helpful for the listeners as well.
I feel so.
You know, so I'm going to go ahead and just ask you.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Do you mind sharing like your earliest memories of entering foster care?
It's funny you say that. I was in diapers, and it was never broken down to me that I was in foster care.
Wow.
Yeah. The way I found out was I was in the first grade, and my classmate said, "Hey, Q, your grandmother's here to see you." And I was like, "My grandmother? That's not my grandma. That's my mom." And it was like, "No, look at my mom. See how young my mom looks?"
Talk a little bit louder.
Is it like, look how young my mom looks? And I was like, okay, yeah, my mom do look like a grandmother. And so what I realized, they had a point. So when I got home, I asked my foster mom. I said, "Are you my real mom?"
Wait. I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
So the grandmother that showed up to your school, is it was she your real grandmother or was she? And so why didn't you? Did she not look like you or something? I'm confused.
So as a kid, I didn't look at those things like, "Hey, we look like each other" or anything like that, because she ran a daycare,
Okay.
and so those questions didn't pop up until that student was like, that classmate was like, "Hey, your grandmother's here," and I'm like, "That's not my grandmother, that's my mom." And so the question started formulating that day.
But what made that student say that? What did she look different?
She was 65 years old.
Oh, so he was saying that she's too old to be, basically that she's too old to be your mom.
Yes.
That's what the kid was saying.
Yes.
Because my mom is this age and you and I are the same age.
Exactly.
And there's no way your mom can be
Exactly.
and my mom is and you and I are the same age.
Yes.
So the kid.
Yes.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Because this mom was like in the 20s.
Okay.
And she's up in the 60s, like, "Hey man."
He's like, that's strange.
Yeah.
Basically the kid.
Exactly.
So how did that conversation go when you got home?
Well, I asked her, I was like, "Big mama, are you my real mom? Because the kids was saying that you were like my grandma." She was like, "I'm your guardian. Your real mom, she's not here right now. But when the time comes, you'll be able to visit her on the weekends."
Wow. And how old were you?
I was like, want to say probably like 8, 7.
So at 8 years old, you go home to Big Mama
Yeah.
and you say, Big Mama, are you my mom?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm your guardian.
Yes.
And so in that moment, when she responded to you, I'm your guardian, and basically I'm not your blood mother, do you remember the feeling that you felt when she gave you her response?
Yes, and I'm glad you asked that as well, because when she said that and she seen the look on my face or whatnot, she was like, she responded to me because I was like, "You're not my real mom?" And she looked at me, she's like, "I'm whatever you want me to be. You're my stone baby." And so it was genuine. So I was like, "Hey, she doesn't treat me any different. She treat me like her own," which her kids were adults, but she didn't make me feel like less of a person, me and my brother.
But how did that moment feel as a kid, knowing that she wasn't your actual mom? 'Cause I'm glad that she saved you in that moment with that response.
Yes.
But also, I know there's another side to that.
Yeah. So I felt like abandoned, like, why am I not with my mom? And then I was like, so who is my dad?
Mm.
And then she was like, "Your dad is deceased." And I'm like, what does that mean? He's passed away. I'm like, what happened to him? She's like, "That's a story for your mom
To share with
you."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is heavy already.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't want to jump too fast.
No.
I don't want to jump too fast because you said that when I asked you how you felt in that moment, that you felt abandoned,
Yes.
right? Do you ever feel at certain moments as an adult where you're triggered and you feel like the abandoned child?
No, I don't feel that way. It's kind of like when you go through life you collect things like bookmarks and you say, when I have this, when I'm in control of my situation, I don't want my kids to experience what I experienced going through this. And that's something that developed as I got older, but I never felt
I
like
was getting ready to say that. It had that's a mature response. You know what you're saying right now, but and we're gonna get through the evolution of
these are great questions.
your maturation
Yes.
of internal maturation as from your experience of going through foster care system. Is that okay for me to say foster care system?
It's fine. It's perfect.
Because I got to make sure I'm sensitive to the conversation.
No, you're good. And I'm glad you asking those questions.
What were some of your challenges now knowing that you're in the foster care system?
Okay, that's good. So the challenges were, as I'm getting older and I'm dealing with different scenarios now.
Okay.
Where I'm being faced with, it's being challenged. Where it's like, hey, this is not your mom. This is my mom. And your mom is all these bad things. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy. And so I'm visiting my mom. It's like me and my brother, we're visiting.
Biological mom?
Biological mom.
So if you don't mind referencing like biological mom, just for the listeners.
Yes.
This is not disrespectful.
Yes.
Just for the listeners.
Yes.
So you're visiting your biological mother.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Visiting my biological mom, and it was feeling weird. And it was feeling weird because there was no time. There was no time built up with this person. And my foster mom, she was like, hey, the social workers want you only to be able to see your biological mother on at this time in the year. She was
wow.
like, and she was like, you guys can see your mom on the weekends when school is out. You can see your mom whenever you want to see her.
So this is what Big Mama was saying.
Yeah, that's what Big Mama was saying.
Okay. So this is good. Yeah. Now it's starting to like unfold to me. But just by listening to you, and when you first met your biological mother, you said it felt weird.
Yeah.
So would I be wrong if I said if I used the word, it sounded like you was having like some conflict with identical crisis or
yeah, yes, because so me and my brother, we're like 2 years apart.
Biological
brother.
Okay.
We're 2 years apart. And we look like twins. He's just a little taller than me. And so we had always been together. He protected me and everything. And so I don't want to jump too fast, but when we started learning who our mother was and the story started unfolding, he wasn't too happy.
Your older brother?
Yes, my older brother. He wasn't too happy.
So you guys had two different responses?
Yes, we had two different responses.
Wow.
It was almost like, Big Mama, it's your fault that we're here.
Wow.
It's like, no, it's not her fault. Our grand aunt begged her to take care of us.
Is it okay for me to ask you what was the reason you guys had to go to the foster care?
Yes. We went into foster care due to self-defense. My father had substance abuse after saving the captain off the ship.
Okay.
And so
Military guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was told if he took the morphine shots and to fake his injury of his back, he would get some funds or whatnot.
What year? What?
This was like in 74, 73.
1974.
Yeah.
And don't forget the story.
No.
I'm saying this because you just said that your father was in the military. He's a military guy.
Yeah.
And you had to enter. You guys had to enter foster care
Yeah.
because of basically abuse.
Yes.
Right. So so my point I'm making is,
Yeah.
all of this play a role in breaking up homes.
Yes.
Breaking up your home.
Yes.
You know, and I'm listening to your story. You said dad was a military guy. He had to
Yes.
fake something, and they had to give him some medicine.
Yes.
So, and Dad, this can go a lot of ways.
Oh, it went a lot of ways because you get morphine on top of drinking along with some other drugs. Now the military practice, the family members on their knees going over salt rocks with a pail of water over their head from one side to another.
Wow.
And physically being abusive.
So he basically had mental health issues then. Substance issue.
Yes. And I was told when my mom was pregnant with me, he threw her through a glass balcony window.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm guessing that someone reported this, or this is not the case. That this is not why you went to the
So it builds up to where you have the paramedics coming to a home.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, this woman, beautiful woman, models, we're coming out here all the time when you beat her. And she's going to the hospital. And so when she came home one day, not sure what she saw, but she grabbed the gun and she turned away and was shooting at him.
Your biological mother.
My biological mother.
Was shooting at your dad.
At my dad.
Wow.
And so when the paramedics came, from what I heard, he said, when I get out,
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. And the paramedic said, no, we're not taking you right now. And he let him die. Yeah. I'm good.
You can breathe, man. This is let's breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. You don't even have to talk yet. Breathe, man. Because I see your tears. And I want to ask you, I wish I had a napkin.
Nah, it's
So
good. Yeah.
What are those tears about, though?
It's about control. It's about absorbing that energy and making something great.
You meaning, so when I'm saying, like, when you were crying just now,
Yeah.
Why did you get so emotional?
Because I'm a success. I'm not taking it the other way.
The other way.
Yeah.
Golly.
That's where that's from. And it's not easy. You know, people learn to forget the journey and they want to see the results. Well, I'm the results. You know, from all that, glad that I was able to learn how I didn't want my life to turn out like that.
Wow.
Because it gave me this big worry where I was like, my father lived to 27. And I found myself writing in songs, will I live to get to see the age 27?
Wow.
Yes. And living in Oakland, I seen a guy get killed on a basketball court when I was 7 years old.
Wow. 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 First, I want to thank you for even just having the courage to express your pain on camera for the benefit, not just for self, but for others.
Yeah.
Because these are issues that we don't get to get out of us. These are stories that we don't get to release from our mouths.
Yes.
In order to create space of peace and prosperity.
Gotcha.
If we walk around with a smile on our face, laughing, joking, having a good time, but if we just took the time to listen to people's true story, if we took the time to create a space for Quentin to share his story, I guarantee that we would be in a better place mentally.
Yes.
We would be in a better place emotionally.
Yes.
We would be in a better place with our relationships.
Yes.
Because I know all of you're one of the few that come out on the other side.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that you and your brother handle it differently.
Yes.
You know, and because your brother is not here, I don't want to talk about that part respectfully.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in that.
No.
But do you look as Big Mama as a one of the pioneers who saved your life?
Yes, because her whole ethic about dealing with things, she's seeing things. She was able to see things that I didn't see.
Okay.
And so, like, she'd say, Quentin, the TV's not working right. And I'm like, can I go back there and check it out? She was like, yeah, but unplug it because, you know, you piss on yourself. You know, you get shocked or whatnot. And so she allowed me to tinker with stuff. And I was like, hey, this tube is black. It's got a number on it. We need to replace this. And so she told Jackie Boy, because Jackie Boy was the driver.
Okay.
And so he drove us to the TV shop. And I gave him the tube. And the guy was like, hey, yeah, that tube is blown out. We're going to give you another one. Use this cloth. Don't touch it with your fingers because it'll put oil on it and it'll blow out again. And so got the tube, put it in the TV, put a little button, see the little dot come from the center of the TV. We got color again.
So Big Mama helped you discover, because you are in the entertainment business, as far as like filmmaking.
Yes.
So she helped you discover your genius, basically. Yes. So that's I'm glad that you brought that up, because being around you, you are really good at certain things. So now I want to ask you, do you believe that? I'm just want to make sure I'm safe with my questions, that I'm intentional.
Ask the questions, man.
How did growing up in the foster care system affect your learning ability, your education in school? Because with me, I watch you and I watch you work, and you're very good at what you do with hands on. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to know, like, what was that like going through the foster care system, going to school? Because that's not the way you learned is not traditional.
Yeah.
Big Mama, you can go back there.
Okay.
You didn't have any instructions.
No.
You had to go and figure it out.
Yeah.
So how was that when you applied it in education, in a traditional educational sense?
Well, the traditional is like, it's like this. She took us to a junkyard.
Okay.
I grabbed the bicycle parts. One of the older kids just showed me how to pop the link on a bicycle. I learned how to put bicycles together and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was like I learned how to troubleshoot and make a way out of no way. You know, I like the little video game cartridges and playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work with things that I didn't actually have, like others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to put the work in for it. And so it's like, hey, you're either gonna learn one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And back then we had people coming to us selling us. This is where it got started. The guy sold us a partial train set. And I'm putting it together. I'm like, why the train isn't moving? I didn't understand why it wasn't moving. I went to Payless. Somebody had pulled open a train set. And I seen the manual. This is why I love manuals. And I'm like, this is why our train isn't going, because we don't have the caboose, the part with the motor in it. This guy just sold us some pieces that doesn't make up the train set.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that I'm answering.
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. Repeat the question. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's good. It's good because I had a question that I wanted to ask you anyway. Were there any specific moments or people that helped shape who you are today? And before you answer that, I want you to really ponder on that, because most people you were one of the few that were able to get a good foster care parent. That's not everybody.
No, it's not everybody.
Position. You know what I mean? Everybody don't get that experience.
No, they don't.
But through your journey in life, do you know of anyone, can you remember anyone or any moment that helped shape the direction that you're going in now?
Yes. I would say where time was real critical. He calls himself Velion Vel. He had told me one day, because I was going through it. And he was like, Q, you got to channel your pain. And the way you can channel your pain is write about it. He's like, see how I write these songs? Write about it. And I'm like, I don't have no music. He's like, you got that handheld recorder? And he showed me, boom, It's like, make your own rhythm. Write to it. When you get into the studio, learn to play that. But get it out. Write your pain out. You'll feel better in the end.
Speaking of pain, what was that pain like? Can you give us a example of what it was like carrying that pain as a child, teenager, young adult?
Okay.
And now, just like it's like, give us like some, because I'm this is like an intimate moment, and I want whatever people can get out of it, I want them to grab it for themselves.
Yeah.
But also I'm trying to imagine the pain. You just said that your mom shot your dad. Your dad was messed up by the military. This basically broke up your home and had you replaced in another home, and you didn't even know that you were a foster child.
Exactly.
So if you can, I'm trying to imagine how a child bear this pain, how a teenager bear this pain? Like, what is that world like? What is that internal world like? When
Okay.
you're at when
Yeah.
you're at your lowest moments, when no one really can, everybody see your smile, but you know what's going on with your inner thoughts. What does that inner pain look like?
There's doubt. There's no hope. And I felt those things when you have adults doing childish things. Like, for example, hey, it's a birthday or Christmas, and you're like, okay, you know, you look at the adult and be like, you expect them to just give you a little item. Like, no, you're not related to us. This is for my granddaughter.
So what did that feel like? What did that pain feel like?
It hurt. Like, I felt that there was no love outside of Big Mama. I felt like there was no love at all. I just kind of felt like, just, oh, he's just a kid.
So throughout life, as a kid,
Yeah.
your internal world was the only one that really loved you was Big Mama.
Yeah, I was loved by others, but a lot
I'm trying to get you to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to express the emotions that you had to carry as a young kid, through teenagers, through a young adult, all the way until now. What was that emotion like as a child? Looking back and saying, okay, this 12-year-old me, I remember days I would be in the room and my internal world is just in chaos. And you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. So with the pain, I occupied myself with just building, like, for instance,
But what would it feel like though? No stories.
No.
What would it feel like? Because I'm asking you that because you may have teenagers in the foster care right now.
Oh yeah.
They're in the room.
The feelings that the pain that I was feeling was like, there's no love outside of this small domain, and there's no hope, and I felt that, just not having support. Picture going to a swim team and everybody's mom and dad is out there. No one's out there for you. Picture playing the sport. No one's out there cheering you on. I almost drowned, and so I went to swimming. I won a second place medal. No family member was there to, support. Big Mama, she ran a childcare. That was her God-gifted talent. So she couldn't take off. Yeah. And I never faulted her for any of that, but just to be like, hey, when you got all these questions where, hey, where's your family at to support you? I know they're proud of you. Like, no one is here. It's just me.
See, I thank you for going deeper because I wanted you to go deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
I
good.
wanted you to go deeper because if we don't go deeper, we can't get it out of it.
Exactly.
And if we don't go deep enough, we can't relate to the listener.
Exactly.
That's watching.
Perfect.
That's active. That's possibly in the foster care.
Yeah.
Or possibly went through the same thing, and they're handling their situation differently.
Gotcha. Can I add something? I found hope.
Hold on.
Oh.
You're not gonna control this.
No.
So let me just ask you this.
Okay.
You felt moments of loneliness,
Yeah.
lack of support.
Yeah.
listening to your conversation, there were times that you would have an identity crisis where maybe why did my mom or dad leave me, or why I'm not being raised by my actual mom. These things are going through your mind.
Yeah.
You just finished, cried a few times.
Yeah.
So I get what message, because this is not about this message is not about being a victim.
No.
This message is about being a victor, but sharing real life experiences
Yeah.
in the hopes that your story inspires someone else to either continue to keep on the right track,
Yeah.
get on the right track, and give them hope that, hey, he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So what message would you like to share with listeners in regards of being resilient and knowing that if you just keep going, there's another, you can write your story?
Okay. Yeah. What I would say is look at it, take it like you have you got fruit on the table. You got the good fruit and you got some bad fruit. And so you may know the story like, oh, well, this fruit's bad because it's been sitting too long. This is good. But what I'm saying is learn from it. Like you may go through some things where you might be yelled at or you might be neglected, but just say to yourself, when you start your family, how will you be a better person giving them an introduction to life without that chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Because going through all these things, it helped me to be a great father to my son.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't know or have a relationship with my mother and father, I tell my son, I'm like, hey, I never knew my grandmother, grandfather. I never had any relationship with them. But you got to see two of your grandmothers and you got to see your mom and dad.
Mm.
And you're helping me build an experience of the father-son relationship. And to hear you say, you love me, me hearing that being said for the first time, it just, I had to go in the other room and shed some tears because I was like, it feels good.
So you allow your family, your wife and your son.
Yes.
One, I have to commend you on that because you're doing the opposite of what you didn't see.
Yes.
You're giving your son everything that you wish someone would have gave you.
Yes.
And it sounds like you use that as a form of therapy and healing for yourself as well.
Yes. Like a checkoff list. All the things that I didn't want, I was like, I'm not going to introduce that to my son. But all the things that I wanted, I was like, I'm going to give my son the world. And you can't buy that. You can't buy it. It gave me, it's like this journey gave me a purpose. Most folks like, I want to have a family with a pretty woman or something like that. But it's like, no, I want to have a family with a structure that's not broken. So I got to choose this person carefully.
Oh, nice. Healing your family.
Yes.
By healing you.
Yes.
By using your family as a medicine.
Yes.
To heal you.
That's my success. Breaking that chain. Breaking it. And I tell them every day, I say, hey, daddy's not going to be here for a lifetime, but I'll do my best to stay alive to see you have a family and learn as much as you can from me. Because one day, daddy's not going to be here, but you have these memories. You have all my skill sets.
We barely touched the surface of things, man. This could have went a lot deeper,
Yeah.
but I believe that we hit enough where it won't be too much.
No.
For the listener, it won't be too much for you. Because I don't want this to be a heavy moment.
No.
I want to talk about real life issues.
Yeah, it is
real life experiences. And what you shared today, most people do not come out of this on the other side.
No, they don't. And what I faced was I faced some jealousy. I faced information, like trying to find out about my father, just few words here and there. And so I wrote this song, a verse to it. Dear family that I never got to meet, I hope that one day or someday I get to greet and see you and those that make a bond whole. For I was raised in the foster home and still don't know who you are and who you be. And I can see a few things starting with me. After I wrote that, one of my best friends said, "Hey, Q, you got a brother named such and such?" I don't know. I just know my father was kind of out there. The guy sent me a message on Facebook. He said, "Hey, I believe we're brothers." I'm like, if your father's initials BMS, he sent me the gravestone of my father. And in one of my songs, I said something like, "Never got to visit where they bury the bones. Question lies, will I see my pop's gravestone? Will it matter?" I'm looking at a picture of my father's name with a gravestone. And I have that picture in my phone. And I was like, wow. And then another brother, Berlin Nicholas. I was like, man, I thought you was my brother, but you didn't have the same last name. He was like, well, I'm gonna let you talk to my mom. His mother, before she passed, gave me some insight on who my father was. And it wasn't a one sentence. She gave me a nice story of who my father was before all this stuff happened. And Berlin Nicholas is my oldest half brother. So I've been finding family members throughout this journey.
Wow.
Throughout this journey. And it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
I'm happy for you, man.
Thank you. It's yeah. And the smiles and all that stuff. It's like we got that funny side to us where we all have a joking side to us. And they tell me, like, I always find the bright side out of worst case scenarios, which I do. Yeah.
That man smiling through all of that pain that you've been through.
Hey, laughing hard too. That's kind of a telltale.
That man is a rapper. That man is a rapper. Can I understand now? The left eye, the right eye. I'm coming. Don't never try to battle me, Q. The left eye, the right eye. I come through in the hip eye. Huh? No left eye, T.I. But man, I thank you for this today, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing a piece of your story, man, in the hopes of inspiring and just giving insight of what we go through, the type of pain that we have to deal with that no one really talks about.
Yeah.
You know, this platform, Big Dog Talk Podcast, this is Big Dog Talk. This is some big conversation, like some real life stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we have to work through in order to heal ourselves, heal our families, heal our communities, heal our mindset, the unlearning, relearning. These are the conversations that I want to have with more people so we can have more grace for one another, so we can learn how to maneuver with one another. May not have the same perspective because we come from different worlds.
Exactly.
You know, and I just hope that the creator does something with this, man. I hope that it does something for you.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I was going through all that, I heard about Mike Tyson, and when I was like, oh, he was a foster child too, you know, and I was like, that was the hope moment. It's like,
oh,
I was like, so Mike Tyson is knocking people out. He's on video games and stuff like that. It just let me know, hey, Mike Tyson has something similar to how you grew up, but there's hope. There's hope. And from that moment, I was like, I didn't feel ashamed to be a foster child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Great job, man.
Man, and thank you, because this gave me some closure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some closure, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big Q.
Oh yeah. You know, I don't say much, but you know, I'm watching.
This is why I love the Big Dog Talk podcast. Yeah. It's not about me, man.
Thank you for having me.
It's about moments like this. To other people, it may be boring. To some, it may be healing.
Yeah.
I'm only here for a certain kind of people. This platform is only for a certain kind of people.
It's going to reach someone. It's going to reach someone.
This rapper, I'm going to knock you out. Man, listen, at the end of the day, man, thank you, Big Q, for coming on the Big Dog Talk podcast, man. Great conversation. Man, you guys can find us on Big Dog Talk _podcast on IG. You can find us on YouTube, Big Dog Talk Podcast, TikTok, Big Dog Talk Podcast. And this is what it's about, man.
Yeah. Peace.
Great episode, man. Thank you, man.